All right, guys. So now I got things working out fine. So all right. Here you go. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Box Mining here. So sorry for the wait up. I had a technical hiccup just now where I think you guys couldn't hear me. But anyways, let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of Box Mining. We're streaming at a new showtime. It's Monday here. It's 11 p.m. in Hong Kong and Asia. The Asian bulls are, or the Asian bears, if you want to say that, they are falling asleep. We're seeing another kind of week ahead of us. And I would just have to say, the weekend was rough, but it's very interesting right now because we have a lot of negative news. Two big pieces of negative news for spoilers ahead for people who are looking at content. But first and foremost, the UK is telling Binance to GTFO, get the out of the UK. That normally would be very, very catastrophic news for the market. It just seems to be indicating that the UK doesn't want Binance there, wants more regulation, and wants to also retain customer records and information. Looking at the taxes right there. But that's very interesting because the markets are responding quite positively right now in the past period. So that's very interesting, very interesting. Combined with another bit of China FUD, which is what's happening on the cryptocurrency mining front. So there's a big dive. I'll show you guys a big dive right now. If you guys believe, cryptocurrency coin prices follow Bitcoin hash rates, well, hash rates have taken an enormous dive. So we're down to below 100 tera hashes per second. Is that even tera hashes anymore? Anyways, so we are diving down to roughly 60% of what we had at its peak on May the 15th. That's signifying a lot of miners being shut down, moving out. And this is really a serious hit. This isn't like, like previously where, we saw the first, news of the China banning mining. We see the first dip and then the miners just kind of migrated elsewhere. But now we see this huge giant hammer coming in. Very, very interesting. But even though there are two negative bits of news, if you look at the markets, it is full of green today. We got Bitcoin going up, Ethereum shooting past 2000 again. It's an interesting time, and we're going to cover a lot of this kind of dynamic between what is happening on news versus the expectations, because it does seem, over the weekend, just by how low crypto has fallen, right, it seems that people were expecting worse. People were expecting even worse. So what could be happening, we'll talk about in today's episode. We also have a special guest coming in. These are folks from True PNL. And it's something that's quite relatively interesting. It's something that will never go out of fashion, which is trading, right? So they have a lot of trading utilities. So they have robo trading. Some of our first times kind of covering this in a more formal fashion. And this is kind of interesting because if you ask around right now, a lot of people have stopped speculating in new coins, but the traders are still super active because they can still make money on the market. So we'll talk a little bit about the robo trading marketplace and the launchpad for opportunities coming today in today's episode. So that's pretty much it. We also have Nathan joining us and covering a little bit more of the news. So it's going to be super packed. And guys, I do have to ask you guys a big favor. So with the bottom, with people asking if the bottom end is in, and we'll we'll talk about that. But I have to ask you guys a very big favor, guys. Please do smash up the likes for today's video. Do chat with us in the live comments because this is a new time, because this is not our usual 11 a.m. Hong Kong time streaming time. We require a little bit more kind of help. So classes audio now working. So apologies, previously the audio was not working. So guys, it is working right now. So I would like to give a big thank to Claude as well for helping with a lot of the content. Honestly, he is the best, most awesome person ever. I'm glad you can join us as well, because I think normally our streams happen in the Hong Kong mornings, which is super early in European time zone. So today, I think we are absolutely at a very different time. So make sure you guys smash the likes. Really appreciate it. We see a lot of likes coming in. We see viewers coming in. So definitely appreciate it, guys. Make sure to be proactive today. Smash up those likes. It really does help the channel. And let's get today's show on the road and to get started. All right, let's just give a quick recap on the market. Then we're going to bring Nate in, and we're going to bring Russell from True PNL in. So everyone's kind of waiting in the background, which is great. So let's first and foremost, let's take a look. So honestly, it's a pretty great time right now. So Asian turned bullish for once. So in the past 24 hours, we saw, this today was a full trading day already. We saw crypto move up, Bitcoin passing 34,000 again, Ethereum passing 2,000. And yes, the weekend was pretty rough. So, just looking back on the weekend, yeah, okay, so the reason why we kind of, at least for me, I look at the big coins is because it kind of sets the mood for everything, right? The rising tide lifts off all the boats. We want to see where Bitcoin is going to go. It's Bitcoin and Ethereum have been kind of like the deciding factors right now for the momentum on the market. So looking at Bitcoin, you definitely see that. I saw that after Friday, in fact, pretty much after a stream, that little recovery that we saw got wiped out. We went all the way down to $31,000 again, and now we're still crawling back up. But something that's kind of interesting about this weekend is, yet again, Bitcoin really held on to $30,000, $31,000. This is where Bitcoin is hanging on. This is where the support, the guys who are looking at the sidelines and saying, you know what, every time it's cheap, we're gonna buy. So that's the point. That's a very critical point, because if Bitcoin doesn't fall and it tests this multiple times, that's going to show that this is where we're going to move up from, of course, right? But obviously this week is still a little bit turbulent. We're going to talk about the two negative pieces of news. We got that coming. We got Ethereum. Let's just take a quick look at ETH as well. Yet again, it dove back all the way down to 1700 to 1800 levels again. But today we moved up. So even though that the weekend was very, very negative, and kind of something surprising is if you look at the news side, right? The news side, everything is negative today, right? You got a big, FCA in the UK warning, Binance, you'll get that out. But at the same time, the markets are up. It's responding up because it's not as bad as what people expect, which is super interesting, right? Like how bad are the Asian markets that the Asians are anticipating the worst? So we're going to talk about that today. But before we talk about that, let us bring in our first long-term co-host of the show. Let's bring in Nate. Welcome back, Nate. How's everything going, Nate?
Hey, man. How's it going? Going well. Still figuring out this camera thing. There's a little bit of light coming in.
Handsome as ever, without the most awesome camera in the world.
Yeah. The sun is coming in from this side, so it's going to be a little bit blown out until I can find a light or something.
The calculations. Beep, beep, beep. All right. That's nice. Yeah. So I'm a little bit luckier because right now it's 11 p.m., so I don't have to worry about natural light. But yeah, good morning to you, man. How's everything going, man?
Everything's good. I during the stagnation, I joined a gym down the street, and so I started working out again. Super tired. You know how it is.
This is the crypto boat. Like I was saying, right? That, during quiet times like this, like every single person I talk to is hitting the gym. Traders from traders to project guys, like every single person's like, yeah, I'm finding time for the gym right now. So yeah, hit us down in the comments, guys. Are you guys hitting the gym or not? Are you guys in true crypto kind of semi bear market fashion? Are you guys hitting the gym down only? Because I've been hitting a little bit of the gym as well. I've been going there like roughly like 4 or 5 times a week now. Just spending like 40 minutes there. I'm like, I had the fitness of a potato, right? When Bitcoin goes up, my weight goes up too. That's like 100%. Like I was getting like chubby. And if you look at SBF, right? I was like looking at comparing pictures of Sam Bankman-Fried. He's like, I'll be gentle, but he's been going through some stuff right now. So we got Aaron Chaffin says he's a true crypto OG. Yeah, I'm going to the gym. LOL.
Nice.
David says I might only go to the DeFi gym.
DeFi gym.
Man, yeah, we might just turn this into an exercise channel, yo. Like, let's do some core workout, man. Like, I remember my first time back in the gym after 1.5 years of being a potato. It was brutal, man. It's like 8 minutes and I'm out. I'm done. Like, frick this. Like, I'm done, man. I'm done. But anyways, let's talk about crypto. Let's see what's happening. We'll talk about the first bit of news over here, which is with Binance, and yeah, it's this is being covered everywhere right now. Like it's got updated from on CNN and CNBC. Like this is like pretty much flooding everything here. And this is with the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK. They say, you know what, Binance Markets Limited is not permitted to undertake any regulated activity in the UK. No entity in the Binance Group holds any form of UK authorization, registration, or license to conduct regulated activity in the UK. So they're basically outright saying, you know what, get out because you guys don't have any regulation. And you know the way it's phrased, you know, I know one of the biggest reasons why, you know, and it's this, you know, it's this. If you need registration, license, and you know, you need to have a little bit of money, like both from your exchange and from your traders. That need to line the pockets of the UK. But anyways, it seems to be the case that the FCA also ordered Binance to retain records relating to UK customers. So basically, it has until Wednesday to display a notice on the website that reads Binance Markets Limited is not permitted to undertake any regulated activity in the UK. That's kind of interesting. I mean, could people still trade? We don't really know. I mean, maybe Binance is going to set up a separate entity. I mean, right now for you in the US, you have to use Binance US, right?
Yes, you have to use a Binance US, and you have to, or an alternative that I've had some other people talk to me about is that you could potentially use a VPN, and then access it that way. But I think Binance US is the only way to kind of access Binance. But I think they're separate entities.
They're separate. Binance has a. That's why they're saying, you know, Binance has a, you know, Binance Group, right? You know, it's a, you know, Binance US will probably using the Binance brand name, but it's a completely separate legal entity. So we had a comment just there. It says BNC Capital says soon Binance UK Limited. It might be the case. I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting to see like how Binance responds. I'll be interested to see if they comply with this or would they find a way around it. I still remember, you know, in the early days, you know, Binance wasn't allowed to have a Japanese version of their website, right? Because that would be kind of, you know, catering to Japanese customers. So Binance helpfully built in an automatic Google Translate function. It can't have official Japanese, but you know, you can Google Translate that. So we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, obviously, this I think for me, why am I taking this as a little bit of a bigger kind of movement is I feel like this is just the beginning, right? Like once people realize, okay, this is and governments realize the power of cryptocurrencies, and this is something we've been talking about from the start. There's two lines, right? One is they want to regulate it, and also they want to control it. And you see that happening in China, right? China is taking the full control route, where they want to say, you know what, we want to control everything that's happening. We want to control mining. We want to control the fiat on and off ramps. In fact, we want to ban it for now, and then until later, maybe they will have complete control over how people get on and off ramp. But UK is just kind of saying, you know what, like right now, for now, it seems like they want to let people know that it's not permitted to take any regulated activity. But however, does that mean, you know, they're going to kick out all UK traders? It seems they're quite targeting futures trading as well. Yeah. So it seems to be the case that FCA notice, you know, you has no direct impact on the services provided by Binance. It kind of seems to be right now at this current point, you know, mostly just like hey, yo, this isn't, put up a notice first. It seems a little bit weak. I guess it's like put up a notice first. But I do kind of I'm a little bit careful of what's to come. Like, you know, this is kind of the first warning shot, right? Yo, put up a notice first, and then you know, what's gonna be next. So far, Binance has said, our relationship with our users have not changed, meaning they're not going to close down anything, etc. So far, it doesn't seem to be a big impact. It seems to be mostly just a notice, and it might be a case where they'll start talking, right? It might be a case where
Yeah.
Binance and the UK FCA, they're going to start talking to each other, and then they'll come maybe reach an agreement. And I feel like it's a situation where Binance is so big at this current point. They have so much leverage, they have so much kind of political power as well. At the same time,
Yeah.
it's almost a situation where they're like a little bit too big to fail, right? It's almost a situation. I'm not going to say that's completely too big to fail, but I'm going to say, like, they're going to have the right people to make the right kind of negotiations happen at this current point. So it could be a case.
Yeah. I think they're gonna make a deal. So we got time. I feel okay about it. The only concern I have with how Binance operates overseas is that there's people confuse Binance.com with Binance US here, and a lot of times they feel like Binance isn't answering their tickets, or there's just a lot of regulatory stuff, and that's always been here in the US, so that's like, this is nothing new for us. The regulations and people being unable to kind of get their tickets resolved from Binance US versus Binance.com is always been a thing. If you check Reddit, it's yeah. So
it's
I think
a thing.
Yeah.
And Paul Gaisley says Binance isn't banned. So yeah, that's quite explicit. Binance basically came out and said, you know what, our relationship with our customers is exactly the same. Ha ha ha. And also, we have a comment that's from 121 Dan. 121 says Coinbase UK has the same message on the website saying that they've applied to be regulated by the FCA, but refuse on the grounds that FCA does not regulate cryptocurrencies.
Oh.
So it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, display your notice here, and then yeah, you can apply, but we don't regulate you. So that just sounds like bureaucracy to the fullest, right? It's just like, yeah, we're gonna regulate you, but we're not gonna regulate you. You know, like
the IDK though.
But anyways, for me, I'm just taking it as like, okay, maybe other countries will probably do the same as well. So that's Flap Smack says lol, hypocritical much. I think absolutely. When they issue out a statement and say you got to put a notice up, they're regulating you, right? And then they say, yeah. It's funny, but anyways, that's what's hitting the markets right now. I feel like it's it's bound to happen considering how fast crypto grew, and you know that the regulations more normally come after a while, right? So we saw the rise of all the doggy coins and crypto pop up over both Twitter and TikTok and all forms of social media. Obviously, regulators are taking eye to this, and they want either regulation or want a bit of the money. I'll just put it out bluntly. These agencies, they want to take the cut too, right? So that seems to be the case right here. We'll talk very quickly a little bit about what's happening on blockchain hash rate. So this is the Bitcoin hash rate. This is probably going to be the biggest bit of FUD news. So the next key topic is really what's happening in China. We see direct evidence that the miners in China are getting taken a big hit right now. So you can see that huge crash in the hash rates. We saw it once, so I kind of want to highlight this. We saw it once and it recovered very quickly because the miners who kind of migrated overseas, right? Because we're seeing that, at this time, but this time was when kind of we first heard that China was going to take a crackdown on mining, and then people migrated to go overseas. They start shipping their miners out, so they turned it off, then turn it back on very quickly. But the people who didn't manage to leave, well, they're gonna hit pretty hard right now. So you can see that it's all the way down. We basically lost around 40% hash rate. So what can we expect here? I can expect a lot of fear, uncertainty, especially for people who don't understand mining, that they're gonna fear that Bitcoin is gonna stop or network is gonna stop at some rate. I can feel that. But I'm just gonna point it out straight. You guys have been on this channel for long enough to know that even if the mining hash rate goes down, Bitcoin adopts or kind of readjusts for itself to cater for this. So they changed something called a mining difficulty. So it's not going to affect the network in the long run. So maybe temporarily we're going to have maybe 20 to 30% slower blocks, but I don't expect this to have a long-term impact. However, the bigger impact is just the fear spreading in China, because obviously miners are going to hit. Some miners are probably going to cash out at this current point. They need to move their equipment overseas, and something that I think the bigger hit here, right, and why on the weekend it fell, was because people they don't know what's going to happen. The fear is greater than the actual news, right? So it's the case where today the Asians were very bullish. We saw a full day of trading already in Asia, and we've seen crypto go up and stay up, right? Especially when on the Ethereum front, and it goes to show that the Chinese are fearing a lot more than what's happening. Namely, the biggest fear in China. I think this is something that's very, very overlooked. I'll give you two things for you guys to look for. So one is a podcast on CoinDesk with Dovey Wang. She gives a little bit of information on what's happening in China. We also have this, which is kind of overlooked, but very, very big right now, which is China's hitting hard on the gray market. So we know that, at this current point, China is, they hit in 2017 and said, they banned crypto, right? But the truth of the matter is that it sent crypto into a more gray market, because the exchanges, yes, sure, they've stopped their fiat on-ramp, so you can no longer go to an exchange in China and then start transferring renminbi to an exchange bank account and then swap that to fiat. That used to be the main onboarding ramp. But crypto is now mostly by OTCs in China. And what's happening with OTCs is that there's just hundreds and not hundreds, okay, let's say thousands of people who are willing to do the swap for you, right? You send them the fiat, they'll send you the crypto, and they'll be the middleman in the operation. In fact, if you look at a lot of the websites, Huobi OTC, BOTC, Binance, OTC, they kind of built these kind of OTC trading desks that kind of match you, right? That kind of match you with another third party that can provide you with the coin. So that's kind of what's happening in China. That's the biggest on-ramp. So it really goes to show how resilient crypto is, how it moved from, even though the ban took place, it moved into a gray market. And then, of course, there's peer-to-peer as well. So what was kind of this got a little bit hidden. I mean, obviously people read it, but the mining news overtook this. But it's important to remember that the Chinese also on June the 9th, this is earlier this month, they arrested 1,000 people on money laundering charges. And there's even this program right now where people can report each other. They can report to the government if a person is involved in crypto. It's like, hey, yo, report your neighbor sort of deal, where like, hey, yo, if your neighbor's dealing in crypto, you call the cops on them sort of thing. So this is becoming a bigger issue. I feel like this is kind of the, closing down one of the on-ramps to people get in China into crypto. And this is causing a lot more fear as well. So it's making crypto a lot less accessible. And also you hear that they're not just closing accounts with people doing OTCs, but they're closing it on multiple kind of tiers as well. It's like, if you actually study how anti-money laundering works, and if there's an anti-money laundering charge, not only do they freeze the bank account of the person who transfers money to the alleged party, but they also can close down chains of bank accounts. So this is kind of the current biggest issue in China right now, where a lot of people who are dealing with the fiat on-ramp, they're getting caught in this big cleanup. And I think something that's important to talk about this, just exploring this topic in a little bit more detail, is that there's a difference between the 2017 ban and the current ban right now. The 2017 ban didn't last very long, right? China said they banned Bitcoin. The markets crashed for a few days. The Chinese freaked out. Like a lot of Chinese who were like, uncertain, they're not hodlers. They freaked out, and then, they started, selling, dumping the market, and the dump didn't last very long. So 2017, that dump mainly came from kind of senior bankers, right? Senior bankers in a PBOC, that's a governing bank in China, that they said, we have the authority to shut down and regulate this, and it's like, get out, right? But this time it's very different. This time it's coming from the top. It's coming from a state affairs department. So this is like kind of almost to the top of the pyramid in terms of the government structure in China. So this is where it can affect multiple governments, and it's hitting multiple fronts at the same time. So this is why the fear is a lot greater, because the mining side is the one that gets hit first. But what about the other sides? And a lot of people are now worried about the two biggest exchanges in China, which are Huobi and OKX, right? So these two exchanges, they hold a lot of Chinese customer funds, and right now there's a lot of fear that these two exchanges might fall, right? And a lot of people think that even though these exchanges, technically they're overseas entities, but it's important to realize that their founders are in China. Their founders actually can't leave China at this current point. So the Chinese government has always had, a direct way to possibly hit hard on this. So that's where the fear is really coming from. It's like, if the Chinese government, hits hard on these two exchanges, then the Chinese really have, a big problem. And we've seen, one of the problems that might occur was like last year when OKX actually froze withdrawals from their exchange for a period of time. And that was like, people were freaked out, and, people are afraid that this will happen again. So this is why, in many ways, the market's moving up, because this hasn't happened yet. And we've seen, bits and pieces, like say, for example, we see some exchanges, they're saying, we're banning all +86 mobile phone registers on this exchange. We've seen that. But it's not going to be, we haven't seen a complete, countrywide ban of crypto. So that's where the uncertainty is coming from. And I feel like this is where the market is kind of very undecided. And you see a lot of traders, right? So if you look at, and we saw this kind of Bitcoin smile graph, and we've been talking about that last week, and we've seen kind of how for these 2 weeks, right? You see that the smile is not really a smile; it's a crooked smile. So the way to look at this is that if it's a very symmetrical smile, like we see on what's going to happen on July the 30th, this means traders expect the market to potentially go up and down. But the issue right now is that with this crooked smile that we're seeing right here, traders mostly expect the markets to go down rather than going up. So you see this side, when the price, if you look at the price going up, you see this whole area here from 34K to 45K, it's mostly flat. This is telling us that traders really don't expect too much movement in this direction. All right, so maybe a bit more, maybe a moonshot. So they're expecting maybe a moonshot might come, but
maybe
this middle area here is just flat it's flat. It's completely flat, which is telling us that traders aren't looking for the upside. They're mostly trying to protect themselves from a downslide right now. This is the leverage traders. So this is something to be watchful for this week. Like if you're looking at the data, this is really showing us, okay, the leverage traders, the people who are leveraged, they don't expect, they expect a little bit more China FUD. The China FUD hasn't cleared yet. So this is kind of the case right now. So yeah, it is a little bit of a crooked smile. It's not the best situation in the world, but that being said, of course, once China FUD clears, I feel like this is where the opportunity is. And I think the biggest, strongest indicator I see in this weekend is, yet again, we're holding off 30K like a champ. That's strong. So anyways, we have our guest here. We have Russell from True PNL. So we're going to feature him. We're going to talk a little bit about crypto, because one thing that is happening, one thing that is always profitable is trading. So let's bring Russell on. Hey, Russell, how's it going?
Hey, Michael. Thank you for inviting me. It's going great.
Nice. I love your shirt.
I love
that sun shining on your face.
Yeah, it's pretty sunny days in Moscow now. It's for the last few days, it was literally super hot here. It's maybe 40 degrees or something. Probably it's the hottest summer maybe for last decade.
Oh,
so,
dang. Yeah. Climate change.
Yeah.
So how's everything going? Like, I guess let's take a little bit of an intro. So, you guys have kind of two fronts. I showed your website previously to the folks on this channel. So you guys have pretty much two main pillars, right? One is the robo trading marketplace, and the other is the launchpad. I guess
Yeah.
for starters, can we talk a little bit about the robo trading marketplace? Because that's one of the aspects that did interest me about True PNL. It is a project, full disclosure, that I'm invested in. But can you tell me a little bit about that? How your story is and how that came about.
Yeah, with my co-founder, we had a marketing agency like 4 years ago, and we come to the crypto in 2018. We created a marketing agency, helped with a lot of projects on the market, and at the same time, we started to thinking about creation of our IT product. And our first product was a crypto exchange, like Luke.io. We were been a bit struggling, like with the market situation in 2019, and it was kind of difficult to develop it. And at the same time, we recognized that it's a lot of exchanges on the market. It's not required a new exchange, it's like. But at the same time, lack of trading infrastructure is could be easily found. It's not a lot of project who works with traders, who help traders. Even Binance, if we talk about Binance, probably you found like a PNL column or PNL analytics, which were implemented only half year ago. If you remember, guys, like maybe 1 year ago, you even can check what's your total results of trades. It's like you're going to the Binance account and thinking, okay, I made a deposit 10 Ethereum 1 year ago, 1 Bitcoin a half year ago. It's what my total PNL is. It's like you even can't understand. You can have to download your trade history and make calculation in Excel file. It's kind of complicated process.
So what you saw is the tools, right? So basically, tools for people who trade on, especially day traders and people who want to make money in this space. Because that was Binance's pitch, right? Binance was like, yeah, we can trade coins very quickly. But then in terms of the tools to help you calculate, okay, what's your PNL? Even something like limit orders were implemented in the first iteration of Binance, right? So now looking at this, so you're creating this trading product, you're creating a robo trading marketplace. Like, how does that work? What's going on here?
Actually, we have several robot trading strategies. If you log in into your account, like you can find more analytics inside. But in general, we built a connection between a signal provider, which we use like a trading queue, is a trustable resource which has about above than 100 million users. And exchange, now we connected the Binance futures. So users can connect the API through our platform and automatically connect to RoboStrategy. Probably most benefit like that they can check how strategy really works, because if you know current robot trading market is kind of black box. Buy my robots, it gives you like 1,000% per month or something, and you can check trading history of these bots, how literally this trading bot works, and etc. What we are building, like we create a transparent analytical tool at first and made a detailed description of each robot strategy on our market, so the users can simply understand which indicators used to the strategy. Secondly, we add a detailed backtest for last 3 years, because mostly all alphas like manual trading or robot trading, it's not profit. It could be difficult to find a long-term profitable alpha or trader. And what's we doing, like we make a detailed backtest for last 3 years for each our strategy, which gives you additional ensures that that the strategy could be profitable in long term. And after we added the strategy to the marketplace, we calculate all the real-time PNL and by trading history and show it to the users. some nice pictures,
So
and
I
etc.
think this is something that's quite different, right? Because this happens in traditional markets a lot, where there's high frequency algorithmic trading, where there's bots that can do trading for you and it look for particular signals on the market. This happens pretty much, and this is kind of dominating what's happening on the traditional markets, right? So you're kind of making a marketplace for these bots that can operate, and you can be a lot more transparent, because that was kind of one of the biggest issue with crypto trading bots, right? And it was one of the reasons why I didn't have touch bots, is because if you give someone access to your API key, right? This is something you can create on Binance, and they have a bunch of warnings around it. Warning, this is extremely dangerous. It's because someone it gives someone complete access to your account in terms of trades. Right, they might not be able to withdraw, but they can buy whatever they feel like with your account. So this is something this is a very powerful tool you're giving to a bot, right? So in terms of what you're doing there, you're kind of doing two fronts, right? So you're trying to make it more transparent to see what's going on, and then the second thing is you're trying to create a marketplace for this, right?
Yeah, it's completely true. In the future, users will be also add their strategies to our marketplace and be rewarded by PNL token instead. And what's also additional benefits, like for example, now users can even make a dedicated IP case, for example, only for futures market. And if they, for example, make a hold portfolio on the spot market account, like they bought a lot of altcoins and for long-term holding, they can allocate some capital on the future account and give us access only to the future account, and also diversify the portfolio, like diversify the total portfolio. Because, for example, to be honest, our results of our strategies are really great, because if we check
for a while now, right? So it's not new bots, right? So you've been working on these bots and strategies for a while now, right?
Yeah, we're working on the product for almost 2 years now, and yeah, we added some strategies maybe half year ago, which are really great data strategies. And for example, I added maybe 5 months ago, I created kind of test account with $5,000 and added to the 5 strategies, allocated this capital to 5 strategies, and now it's about 21K on the account.
Oh wow!
Which it's a really great result. But the most greatest results, that's like, even if you check the current drop down on the crypto market, like Bitcoin dumped almost twice, like altcoins dumped for 60-70%, and our maximum drop down now is 7%, and it's probably fantastic results for such a market. So we almost didn't lose money.
This is the part where it's like trading like this. It's regardless of whether it's if Bitcoin's going up or down, you're gonna make money, right? So how does something like this work? So if you log in, you have access to a bunch of these bots, and how does something like this work? So can you tell me a little bit about how? What's the strategy here? How does that work? It seems to be generating revenue, right? So it's like generating revenue in March, April, and May, right? How does that work?
Yeah, for sure. Like, our strategy use several indicators, and mostly we are focused on middle and long-term trading, like not super intraday trading, because in the trading you always have to understand your opponent. Like, you always understand who you play with, and for example, if you created high frequency trading, you're playing with market makers, and it's kind of dangerous game for you, especially for retail investors. But if you just use a middle or long-term strategies, you play kind of with just holders, and you easily can exit from the strategy and also earn more than just benchmark of the market, just classic crypto benchmark. So several of our indicators use fundamental indicators like MACD indicators, some momentum indicators. To understand the clear more price, we use some like average following of, and I mean, we use kind of maybe 10 or several decades of indicators for other strategies, And probably the most beautiful thing that users can use any indicators of TradingView, create the strategies, and propose the strategies to our marketplace.
Right.
And
Right.
because currently TradingView has about 100 indicators, and even users can create their own indicators if he deeply involved in the trading. And now, it's like, if you probably check some like algo trading books or something, and even you take alpha from stock market or like from bonds market, like sorry, from bonds or like any types of classic markets, like the alpha can probably already don't work on the classic market, but it's also still efficient on the crypto market because it's not a lot of big players currently. And I think it's probably really prospective field for investing for the last several years, at least till big markets don't come on don't comes.
So it's really automated. So you the thing is connected key, and I do have to say, this is quite an advanced something advanced to do, but this is out there. This is something that's done across the board, not just in crypto markets, but across the board, where there are indicators, and there you could technically create a strategy, right? You can devise a strategy, like this one, like if like I'm just like browsing here, you have the exponential moving average. This is completely based on the EMA, and there's certain criteria for triggering a buy, and there's just a certain criteria for triggering a sell. So what you can see is you can actually see where this is successful, and then what the positions it has. So so take me through this. So what happens? Like you connect to it, you get the Binance trading API key, and then boom, that's it, right?
Yeah, you're just simply creating your Binance futures API, just connected to our strategy. Choose the bots or several bots which suits by parameters. Like, for example, you want to have an Ethereum pair bot or something, or trade with Ripple, for example. We check the parameter. Risk score is also important thing, which you have to be orientated when you're choosing the strategy. And then just that connect to the robo strategy, and it will be automatically trade on your account, on the Binance account.
Right. And how do you make money from something like this? So what's the catch here? What's the catch?
It's the most beautiful thing that we are kind of on beta testing. It's currently free, and we have several thousand users now. And we are going to implement like our fees structure in several, I think even in 1 month. So we are going to charge 20% of success fee, like a classic venture fund, but we do it like for retail investors, and I think it's real big. The most beautiful thing is that we can make it 100% autonomous, and which could be difficulty implemented like for classic venture funds, and we can work even with small amount of funds opposite the venture funds. The hedge funds can work with the amount less than 100K, for example. So yeah, it's our beneficial. It's slogan for RoboStrategy. So our slogan is like we creating a hedge fund for everyone. So it's our main mission.
Right. So it really is. I mean, I think it's to a point, right? And I have the comment here. This is kind of crazy because it's a point where it's so easy to implement this, right? But at the same time, there's a lot of intricacies in the back end, right? Because technically speaking, just with a few clicks, you can integrate this to a Binance account. But then, of course, the mastery of this is really understanding what's going on in the background and choosing what is right for you. And I think this is kind of the biggest challenge now, right? So for people to have the knowledge to identify what's happening, because obviously, some go down, some goes up, right? So you can see, so for this, like the 3 months, like these, the top ones here, the 3 months doing great, right? So week plus, month plus, 3 month plus, but we do see some that are down over the month, but still kind of up I think every strategy here is up over the last 3 months. Is there a reason for that? Like, how long have obviously have you tested these over a year? Or are there times when it's just all down, or were these 3 months just particularly good for all these?
The first column shows like the strategy, the result of the strategy since inception. Like for example, on the first strategy is 230%. But at the same time, it's backtesting data. If you open the strategy, you can see a current data on the analytic page. On the analytic page, you can see the current data which already showing you real-time data after implementation of the strategy. Like first analytic
but can you
page.
backtest it more, because that's a small period, right? This is just like, this is a year, right? Can you backtest it over 3-4 years, 5 years, something like that, and to kind of see how that works out?
Yeah, it's great questions. We are trying to extend this period now, but the biggest challenge that if you remember, the Binance future has been created like 1 year and 8 months ago. So yeah, it's kind of difficult to test the strategy more than this period, than this inception period. But yeah, we are working on also going to test it on the spot market as well. So yeah, we are going to extend this period, and we also add some additional criteria for backtesting. For example,
that's one of the first things that these traders looking at with a strategy, because you can't just test it over a year, right? You gotta, like, because I spoke to Willy Woo a bit, and he comes up with like these great ideas, and then like the first thing he does, he'll backtest it for a long period of time, and select and have the tool. So I guess that's coming in, right? And then that's gonna be like the final the validation for something like this.
Yeah, but it's also work if you understand the basic deviation of the asset, and also understand how the strategy works from fundamental reasons. Like, for example, it's trend following strategy, and you think, okay, like Polkadot has a kind of volatile market, but it has a strong trends, like, or Ethereum has a strong trends, and even you can test it like for more than 1 year, you basically understand that it fits from fundamental criteria, and it's also one of the options how you can increase your confidence in the strategies.
And I think this is kind of interesting, because I was learning Ichimoku Cloud. It's kind of cool. So I guess it's the key. So I guess the really key here is to understand what the strategies are doing. So reading the descriptions of the strategies. And is there a way to communicate, like ask you guys, more information about how this works? Because I mean, obviously, if you're familiar with this, it's great. But is there a good way to find out more from the team about how these strategies work and what's kind of involved in here?
Yeah, when we when we start to add some community strategies, we'll also probably add some notes from the author of the strategies as well. At the same time, we are trying to make it more simplified. Currently, we hired a new analyst in the team who are going to work on this topic more closer as well.
So this is kind of a growing part of what you guys are doing. So you guys are just starting out. This is the first iteration, and you're starting out, and you're going to build more upon this as well.
What's we started from, like, we have created a kind of fundament for stable and for super stable and scalable execution of these strategies, and for attraction of people, because the system should be scalable, and because we created an exchange before, and we understand that sometimes scalability is so important. And what we created, it's kind of super stable kind of fundament, like for implementation or adding additional strategies. So when we really well tested this fundament, like we understand and sure that we can add more and more strategy in the future. And it's not a real big problem to add a lot of strategies. The biggest problem to support these strategies, So yeah, I think what we are really doing is creating a super stable infrastructure for our users.
cool. Yeah, we'll see how. I'm gonna personally test out how this goes. And from your side, is there anything else that you're looking forward to in the future? So, like, I mean, I guess for the audience here, what should they look out for in the future, and what would their call to action be for from your side?
Currently, it's probably the best time to join our marketplace because it's still free, and we're going, like I said, we're going to implement the commission system in 1 or 2 months, probably even a month. So yeah, the users who already join our marketplace before the commission implementation will receive several months of free usage. So I think it's probably the best time to participate. Yeah, and if you talk about our roadmap, like we are going to implement some short strategies because I think it could be really profitable.
So you're catering for the bears out there. So for the bears out there, there will be some short strategies.
Yeah, it's. I think everything goes by market circles, and now I see that it's kind of another stage of the big market circle. After the bearish, it also comes. After the bullish, it's also come with bearish stage, and I even believe that it's probably could dump like till 75% from the all-time high, and it will be about 15K for Bitcoin. And I'm
you're a bearish. So you're a big bear here. You're bearish.
No, I'm just watching, guys. I'm just watching. I just sitting with cash and watching what's going to be next. Like I'm okay. I'm just taking some cash and risk-free strategy.
Spoken like a true trader. Don't have exposure, just make money, right? just farm that money, right?
Can you have a question? Can you stack the strategies? Can you like combo the strategies together?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you can use. Yeah, it's what we're also doing from our capital. We allocate our capital to several strategies and combine, for example, from my account connected to 5 strategies on our marketplace, and it's sometimes it's work even more stable and more efficient because some strategies uncorrelated between each other, and in long term you will receive significant growth, but your risk is kind of still on the low because some strategies are uncorrelated. For example, one position. For example, you can long BTC and short Ripple at the same time and receive a long-term profit, but your total risk is kind of much lower than just if you long a BTC, and it's how hedge funds works. So you also can
stack them. Cool. Yeah, that's fun, yeah.
Interesting. I think this is one of the first times talking about robo trading. I think I'll definitely be interested in to see how it goes. We're gonna play around with it. So thanks for talking to us about it. I think this one actually has more backtests. I've been browsing this. This one's backtested since 2018. So that's actually not bad. That's so that gives you 3 years there. So there are drawdowns of 15%, but at the same time, that's a massive profit. That's a awfully crazy profit there. So I hope that goes well. I hope something like this, you get more strategies coming in, and this is something that people can look at, because this is something that people talk to me a lot about. They're like, "Oh, what's working right now?" Well, trading.
Yeah. Well,
the traders are still good. I've been talking to the folks at Genesis Block a bit, and trading's good. Investing a little bit harder, but trading is great.
Yeah, in this market uncertainty, it's probably one of the best. Your capital management strategy is just taking or alternative way, like trading bots as well. I think it's probably one of the best time to use such of products, or risk-free staking. Like it could also work, I think. now is the best time.
I think there's still some risk. We still have some hacks left around in crypto. I mean, there's definitely risk. There's nothing less risk-free money, right?
Crypto is very risky.
That's the hard part, but I think that's cool. So thank you, Russell, for telling us a little bit about True PNL. I hope you guys can check it out. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'll be interested to see how that goes. I've been actually looking at a few things. Just like on the weekend, I've been looking at farming, staking, because I've been looking at passive income again. You know, it's my thing, right? You know, the box mining guy is always looking for some passive income, like make money while I sleep. Right, that's like my dream, right? And you know, sorry to report, but you know, the crazy farming yields of 50% APY on stables, that's gone. You know, like it's no longer really possible realistically to earn 50% every year on stable coins. Like that's risk-free money, right? Technically. So right now, like a lot of the farms, I see the yields dropping quite a lot. You know, we're looking at 10% maybe, like 10 to 15% for staking. Russell, you gave a look there. Are there better rates right now? You know, you seem to
be honest, I'm just kind of conservative. I don't stake to altcoins pool or something, or pancake pools, for example. We're just taking with like 5 or 6%, like, but it's just small part of the capital. I think just we allocate some capital to super risky strategies and allocate some capital to almost risk-free. So I think it's key to success in the long term.
Yeah, Jason Ruff says Celsius is 8.8% stable on APYs. I think Binance right now is 7% on USDT, which is not too bad if you lock it in for a week. That's where we're going, guys. We're going back to Binance staking. So Binance.com, right? Sorry about that. But if you could check earn, I saw that wasn't too bad. You sometimes get 15, like if you are in Belt. I think Belt is still offering 15 if you have Belt on the 4 pool. So they mix 4 of the stable coins, but it's like it's definitely not the 30%, 60% days anymore. It's we're at very different times, but you know, wow, crypto is going up today. So guys, definitely a lot going on. So I feel like we're seeing ETH pump today. That's pretty good. Like the fear seems to be over. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys liked today's episode. I definitely want to thank Russell for coming on, and definitely check out True PNL if you guys have the time. Thank you, Nate, for coming on. Me. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks all for joining at this kind of different time. If you guys enjoyed this different time, definitely smash up the likes. I definitely love talking to you guys, especially we see some new faces here, or like I saw especially a lot of long-term viewers here coming in. I guess the people who couldn't come in normally in my usual stream time, you guys are here, so thank you guys so for that support. And yeah, we'll see you guys on next Friday. That's the next planned live stream will be on Friday, so we'll see you guys then. And if you guys have any topics you guys want us to discuss and share some alpha, guys. Flat Smack says I'm buying Chainlink, not financial advice. We're gonna talk about more Chainlink gang. All right, so we have the next one coming in on Friday, so I hope you guys can stay tuned for that. And with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.